Hey there! Welcome to the channel where you will find love, laughs, and DIYs. My name is Crafty Kathy. I'm the owner and creator of Kit's Vintage Farmhouse here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'm so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft with me this evening. This week I've been working on some super easy spring crafts that I think even a beginner can enjoy and participate in. So let's get to the first one. It's going to be a spring riser. For this craft, I have an old piece of scrap wood. It's probably about an 8 by 10 and it's maybe about an inch or two thick. And then I've got some DIY paint in the color Apothecary, which is the perfect color for spring. Now I've already sanded down my piece of wood, and it was just an old junk piece of wood that I had, and I'm going to put 2 coats of the color Apothecary all over this thing. I make a bunch of risers for every season because I sell them in my store, but I also like to have 1 or 2 here in my home so that I can display all of my DIYs for my videos. Now, I'm just using 4 of these little snowmen that you got at Christmas time at the Dollar Tree. That's going to be the feet on my little riser. And you can use anything that is kind of shaped like this. Just think outside the box. I mean, we're using snowmen for the feet, and it makes perfect little feet. I almost just kind of dry brushed over them. Now, my friend Lori at Milton's Daughter sent me this gorgeous rice paper with Easter bunnies on it. And you know, I'm just wetting the end of a paintbrush and I'm going around because I don't like any kind of straight lines when I'm going to decoupage. And I'm just going to go around and get it wet where I want to rip it. And then I just kind of tear it. And you still be careful when you tear it, but it tears so easily. Rice paper is so easy to decoupage with. Instead of using a liquid patina or Mod Podge, I'm just going to use a glue stick, and you'll see it's going to stick down perfectly. So I just put my glue stick all over it, and I placed it where I wanted it to go, and I just laid it down and smoothed it. Now, the thing I like about rice paper is you don't get any wrinkles, and that is my favorite part. It's so easy to put down. Now for the feet of the riser, I'm going to take the little butt of the snowman. I'm going to put my Titebond wood glue and a dab of E6000 on it, on the bottom there. And that's what we're going to place on each of the 4 corners. I position my fingers in a way where I know that that little feet is not going to go over the sides, and that's how I know that I get them all in the same spot on all 4 corners. I'm going to leave Lori's information in the description box below at www.miltonsdaughter.com in case you want some of this rice paper. She does have her Easter rice paper out. Now what I do is flip it over and I set it overnight with a book on top of it, and the weight makes the riser like hold together. Then the next day, I took some of my white wax, that's DIY white wax, and you see I'm just going over the whole piece because I used the DIY paint. I have to seal it in with something. We're going to seal it in with this white wax, and I also put liquid patina all over that top portion where the bunny picture is because I wanted to make sure that I got a good seal there. But I'm just wiping on that white wax and wiping off the excess. And I hope you like this one.
Yesterday I lost the battle, trying at all costs, oh, to keep you, baby. Oh, to keep you, baby. Now I hurt so bad. All I feel is sad that I lost you, baby. Oh, I lost you, baby. I said goodbye with tears inside, calling out your name as you shut the door behind you. And now I wonder, why won't you come back? Love me, hold me, need me, like the way you used to do, when it was just me and you. Don't go, I need you, I'll never mislead you.
The next one is an egg nest display, and this is my favorite of all of today's crafts. I have one of these large plastic eggs that comes from the Dollar Tree, and also from Hobby Lobby in their wood pile collection where all their wood stuff is. I picked up this little package of birds and branches. It was only $2. And then I'm going to be using a hot knife. I took my egg outside and I went over it with a couple of coats of my Rust-Oleum 2 times in like a flat white color. And then I've got this glue that Miss Lori sent me, and I'm going to try it out. It's a Pentart glue, and it's supposed to dry really fast, so I thought it would be great to try. And I just put it where the little egg pops together, and then I closed it and wiped off any of the excess. And it did dry really quick, and it was a good strong bond. It's supposed to be for different types of crafts, and it's called Pentart Express Glue. The next thing that I did was take my hot knife, and I got this hot knife from Plaid. You can find these at Walmart. I want to say they're anywhere between $5 and $8 a piece. I'm not 100% sure, but it's got like an X-Acto knife on the end of it. It gets hot, and it cuts like butter. It just cuts it so easily and effortlessly. Look at this. So I just cut a little oval shape in the front of my egg because we're going to do like an Easter diorama is what this is going to be. Now I did have a couple of little edges that were kind of uneven, and so I went back and just kind of straightened them up with my little hot knife. I also took my little finger sander, and I have a light grit on here, and I'm just kind of going over it so I can make sure that it's perfectly smooth, but it doesn't really matter in the end because we're going to cover that part up. I just didn't want any like sharp little jaggedy ends or anything like that on my egg. The next thing that I did was get my Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm going to paint one of these branches, and I'm just going to leave the leaves blank for now. And I just painted both sides because I figured you might be able to see the back side. So I went ahead and painted it and then just wiped it down with the baby wipe. Then I took this pretty pink color by Folk Art, and you can get this at Walmart. It's called Coral Crush, and I just painted the little leaves because it reminded me of the color that a cherry blossom is, and I thought it was so pretty. Cherry blossoms are one of my favorite trees in the spring. My sinuses don't like them, but I think they are beautiful. And then Lori sent me this beautiful new color called Prom Queen by DIY Paint. It's this cool blue color. And I'm going to paint 2 of these little birds this blue color. You know, I was trying to figure out what color to paint the bird. I have a lot of blue birds around my house, yellow birds, and red birds in the winter. But I decided on this pretty blue color because I thought it would be perfect. Then that second little bird was sitting on a branch, and so I painted him with the Waverly Antique Wax. I used my trimmings mold by IOD, and at first I made some resin, and then I had poured it in the little thing that I was going to put it in and realized how long it takes for it to like dry. And I thought, man, I can't do that. So I just pulled out my DAS clay, which is what I've got here. And I used that same mold, the Trimmings 2 mold. And I created 2 of these little trimmings, I guess you would call them. You can use these to go around, like make a border around something. Anything you want to accentuate. It's so pretty. And when you first pull it out of the mold, it's like this, and it's still pliable because it takes it a whole day for it to fully dry. So what I did was use my Type Bond glue. It's a wood glue. I put it on the back, and then I placed it in that same pattern that the egg is going here, and it went around the front perfectly. Then I just get a little bit of my blue masking tape because you don't want this to slide. It's got that glue on the back side of it, and if I just laid it like this, it could slide. But if you put down some tape and leave it alone overnight, it's going to freeze that way on that egg. And here we are the next day. I'm just going to take my tape off. It did pull a little bit of paint off in a couple of places, but that's okay because we're going to repaint this anyway. And so I'm not really sure why I painted it in the first place. I just wasn't sure how I was going to do this craft, and it just kind of evolved as it came along. I'm also taking a little bit of my DIY white wax because I want to lighten these birds up a little bit. So I just put it on my little bluebirds, and I used a little baby wipe to kind of wipe off the excess. I even put it on the branch. Anything that you want to soften up and lighten up, that DAS white wax does perfect. I'm taking my beautiful color Apothecary that Miss Lori sent me, and I'm going to go over this whole egg, that front part, the trimmings mold, the whole thing. I'm going to give it 2 full coats, and I'm going to dry it in between my coats. I painted that candlestick that came from the Dollar Tree, the Apothecary color also. And now I'm just taking my DIY white wax, and I'm going to go over this whole egg and the mold part on the front, and I'm going to cover it with the white wax and then wipe off the excess with a baby wipe. And Miss Lori over at Milton's Daughter is the lady that you need to see if you want to find any of these paint or the white waxes or even that pent art glue, any kind of craft material pretty much that you see me use. You can get it with Miss Lori. You can even get the rice paper from her. Now here, I'm just taking that little Dollar Tree candlestick that I had painted green, the Apothecary color, and I'm going over it with the white wax. I'm going to set my egg on top of it when we're finished. Now I'm making a little makeshift nest from some of that Spanish moss that I pulled out of a tree in Florida. And then I'm just seeing where I want to put my little twigs or branches. So here I'm just going to use my Star Bond glue, and I used the one that is the thin, and I'm going to put some on this little branch, and I'm going to use the accelerator and spray it on the egg portion to make my little branch go right across the front of my egg. And then I'm also going to place it on the back side of the little branch and the accelerator so it will stick exactly where I want it to. It just takes a few minutes when you spray that accelerator on, and it freezes up hard within seconds. I'm going to take the bigger bird and I'm going to put him on the branch, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to use my Star Bond glue in the thin, and I'm also going to use that accelerator and hold him there for just a few moments until he freezes on that branch exactly where I want him to be. Then after I got him placed where I wanted him, I took the smaller little bird that's on the branch, and I'm going to kind of put it up toward the top, just where he's kind of looking on the other bird. And I took some of these little azaleas that came from the Dollar Tree. I didn't like how bright and kind of cheapy looking they were, so I added some of that DIY white wax to them, because anything that you want to just kind of soften up and make the color look softer, that works. I just basically put it on there just like I was painting it on there and wiped off the excess with the baby wipe. And I'm just going to put down a little bit of hot glue and put it at the very top of my little egg. And I think it really made a difference. It took those flowers from looking kind of like cheap Dollar Tree flowers to making them look really pretty and high-end. Here you'll see that I'm clipping off another little bunch of these azaleas, and see how they look before I put the white wax on them. They're just very bright. And so I just used my finger actually and rubbed in some of that white wax, and then used a baby wipe to wipe off the excess. And I'm going to place this one in the back inside that little makeshift nest that I made. And I also rolled up 3 little pieces of clay to make it look like eggs and placed them inside the nest. And I went through all of my little spring bows, and I finally just settled on this little lace ribbon that comes from the Dollar Tree, and I'm making a simple finger bow, and it's going to go on the bottom part of my egg. I left the tails of my ribbon just a little bit longer than what I normally do because I thought it looked prettier and it drew a little more attention to my egg. I hope you like this one, guys.
Tick-tock, the clock keeps ticking. I don't know what I should do, and I wish you would be right here with me. My mind is filled with pictures of when we used to dance, but now I don't know where you are. I miss you so bad, won't you come back to me? I've got you in my head, you're all that I see. I've lost all my chances, I know that I am too late. I'm thinking of you, I'm thinking of you, I'm thinking of you, wondering if you're thinking about me too. Now it's too late, now it's too late. I'm out of time, but I'm still thinking of you. My heart keeps on bleeding. I have scars.
The next one is a beautiful bunny tray. This one is one of the easier ones of all of my projects of the day. I got this beautiful tray at Dollar General when it was on clearance, and I only paid like $1.50 or $2 for it. And then I have these little transfers that I got off of Amazon. I have these linked in my Amazon store under the transfers in case you want some. And I got these last Easter. So I was so happy to find these in my drawer today when I was going through all my transfers. So I just placed it right down in the very center of my tray. I'm using the little tool that I get whenever I get a transfer from IOD. And all you do is rub that image and it comes right off onto your DIY. It's super easy. I hope that you guys are enjoying this video so far, and I wanted to take a quick moment to let you know if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would love for you to be a part of our family. All you have to do is hit that little red subscribe button and you're in. And there's a bell beside it. When you ring that little bell, YouTube's going to let you know every time that I put out a video. Also, if you would, hit the like button because it really helps my videos get out there to people that have never seen them before. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. So here I'm just taking the color Plaster by Waverly, and I'm just going to do a little bit of dry brushing down the sides of my tray. I just get the excess off, and this is one of those little brushes that I absolutely love. They're in my Amazon store, and they are specifically for distressing. So I just get the excess off and just kind of go down the sides of my tray. And I'm going to take some of my Dollar Tree jute twine, and I'm just going to put a little dab of glue underneath the bottom of the side here, and I'm just going to wrap it around and around so that these will be covered with some beautiful jute twine. It's just an extra little thing to accentuate the sides and bring a little oomph to my tray. I did that to both sides, and the very last thing that I do is use a lighter to burn off all the little fuzzies that's on the jute twine. This was super simple and easy, and I hope you like it.
Never thought it would be so hard. I grew up without a scar, just living my life with no big worries. And I've always known what I want, just didn't know what came along. Finding myself a much less happy. Back in the days I used to dream about one day a life so amazing, not everyone judging me. Don't wanna care about them, though it hurts so bad. I wanna stay wide open, 'cause if I shut down, it just gives them right. I wanna stay wide.
These are some super easy bunny candles. I have some beautiful rice paper here that I got from my friend Teresa over at Sweet Teas, and I'll leave her information in the description box in case y'all want some rice paper from her. I've already wet around two little bunny rabbits, made like a little circle around them, and we're just going to tear those off of there. And I have two candles that I got from the thrift store. Now, you know I don't like any kind of straight edges when I'm decoupaging, so all I'm doing is going around where it's wet and just kind of tearing those edges off. And once again, I'm just going to use my Elmer's glue stick. I'm going to put it all over the back of my little bunny rabbits, and I'm just going to place these right down in the center of my candles. This is a super easy way to make beautiful decor for your home, and people stop and look at it and they notice it. There's something that all of us women love about candles, and when I see one that has a cute little bunny rabbit or something seasonal on it, it makes me stop in my tracks, and I absolutely love it. And this is an easy way to redo your candles. If you use the glue stick, you can pop it right off there and put it on another piece of rice paper on for the next holiday. Think about that. And then I'm just going to take my jute twine, put a little dab of glue, and go around the tops of these candles about 3 or 4 times with the jute twine, and then tie off the excess. And then the very last step is to burn off all those little jute fuzzies. Look how simple and easy, and you would probably pay about $10 to $15 for these at Crackle Barrel.
You were the top that eclipsed the room. I was the one who arrived too soon. But no one would ever bet against us. If they saw us exchanging glances, I was too busy to fall in love. You were too busy to break my heart. Nobody
The last one is a quick little birdhouse makeover. I was really just playing around in this piece, but I wanted to show you what I come up with. I got this little birdhouse at the thrift store last year, I believe. I've got 2 or 3 of them that's the same, but I got an idea and I wanted to see if it would work out and how it would look. So I'm going to decoupage a napkin onto this. I thought it was really pretty the way it was, but I wanted to just jazz it up a little bit and see if it could come together the way I saw it in my mind. And Roxy wanted to hop up here and help me out for just a moment. And I'm going to show you what I do is I put a little bit of Mod Podge down. I put it on my fingers, and it helps me to separate the different plies that's on the napkins. Most napkins have 2 plies. Sometimes they have 3, and this one did have 3. So you just use that Mod Podge in your fingers to peel apart all the layers, because all you need is that very top layer. The next thing that I did was wet the end of my paintbrush with some water and get as close to the little rose pattern as I could. I don't want straight edges, so I went all the way around these beautiful roses and got out the pattern in the sizes that I needed. And all I'm going to do is go over, and first I just painted with just the plaster color paint by Waverly. I went over this whole little area, and then I just put down some Mod Podge all over it, and then I start with my napkin. I kind of start off in the center and very carefully use my fingers, and I also use saran wrap to make sure that I don't have any wrinkles whatsoever. The next thing that I'm going to do is pop little holes all in the areas that have the holes in them already. And I'm going to take my lighter and I'm going to light it up, and it's going to burn the area that is just open. Now the part that has the Mod Podge on it, it will not burn that. So it's just going through the areas that's open anyways. I use my little hand sander as needed, and I go around any areas that I want to just kind of straighten up or clean up a little bit and get that excess napkin off of there. And I'm going to show you one more side, and then I'll show you the finished product. Now here is where I'm painting it once again with my white chalk paint all over the beautiful little birdhouse. And while the rest of that's drying, I had painted the top of the birdhouse, and I'm going to put a whole napkin down on the very top part. Anytime that I decoupage, I do the exact same thing. I lay it down and try to lay down the middle of the napkin first, and then I use my saran wrap and my fingers to make sure that all the wrinkles are out. And there was absolutely no wrinkles in this when I was finished. You see, I just put my Mod Podge down, and I try to work in small areas when I have a bigger area like this. And as you notice, I just flipped my napkin over and went straight to the saran wrap. I'm going to use my little finger sander to get any of the excess that's hanging off the edges off of my little birdhouse top. Now that this is dry, I quickly went over that whole area with the Mod Podge once again, and I had already gotten my napkin ready, laid it down, started from the middle and went all the way out, and I used my saran wrap to make sure I had no wrinkles. And check this out, there's not a wrinkle in sight. It is so beautiful. So the next thing I did was use the end of my paintbrush and pop out those little holes, because we're going to do the exact same thing, and use the lighter to set it on fire, and it's going to burn through the area where the holes are. And then where the napkin and the Mod Podge is, it's going to be left alone. It burned so perfectly, and if there's just a little bit of like ash left on there, I just use a dry paintbrush and kind of brush it off, and it just looks beautiful and perfect every time. I love decoupaging this way and getting off the excess. It makes it so much easier. I did all my little sides of my birdhouse this way. I had painted all of them, Mod Podged all of them, poked the holes in all of them, and then got the holes opened back up. And it really did turn out pretty. Now, Miss Lori sent me this cool product. It's called Velvet Powder. I had no idea what it was at first, but my daughter told me that it's this new trend where you can put down like Mod Podge or some type of glue, and this stuff just kind of blows out. It's almost like an airbrush, but when it lands on whatever you place it on, it literally did look like velvet. It was so weird. So I thought, well, let's try it on just one side of the birdhouse and see how it comes up. It happened to be this bright pink color, and that's the same color that's in the flower. So I figured even if I didn't like it too much, that it would still match and it's not going to look crazy. So what I did was put just a little bit of Mod Podge down the side. And then I took my velvet powder, and all you do is just kind of push it, and it just kind of blows it out. It's almost like I said, like you're airbrushing it on there. I was so amazed. This stuff was so cool, and it was really fun to play with. And at first, I just put a little dab on there, and the more I played with it, the more I loved it. And I was getting so excited because I found like a new toy. You know what I mean? So I've got so many ideas, and I really hope that this velvet powder comes in all different colors, because my mind started springing open with all types of ideas. Imagine not having to distress with like antique wax anymore. If you had a brown color, you could put it on and it would look like, you're distressing. I don't know if you can see this very good, in the camera or not, but it looks like velvet laying on my birdhouse. It really intrigued me. So at this point, you know me, I couldn't stop. I thought, well, we put it on one side, I got to put it on the bottom. And the more that I kept adding, the more I liked it. And the more that I kind of got the hang of how to do it so it wouldn't look blotchy, so that it would look right. I just hope that the camera can pick this up where you can actually see what it looks like. It literally does look like velvet. It's wild. So what I'm thinking is that this is a new Pentart product that they've just got. So Miss Lori sent it to me, wanting me to try it out and see what I think about it. I thought it was really cool. And here I am trying to show a close-up, but I don't believe that you can just see how perfect and beautiful this velvet looks. Look at it here on my finger. It literally looks like velvet. I'm not kidding. I'm so intrigued by this stuff.
Hey,
So at this point, I only did one
at
side
this
of my
stuff
little
she
birdhouse in this. I just kind of wanted to play around with it and show you what it looked like. But here it is on my towel where I wiped it up. And look, it literally looks like velvet. It's just flipping me out. I hope you guys like this little birdhouse makeover.
I'm walking down the street on clouds instead of the concrete I'm dancing through. Everything's about to come my way. Nothing can ruin my day. No matter what anyone does or say, I smile at fools. No, I don't care, cause I am on my way up. And I won't stop, I won't slow down. Steady on my feet, I'm gonna rise up. No, I won't stop, it is my time.
Guys, if y'all stuck with me through this whole video, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming and spending a little girl time with me and crafting with me today. Don't forget, I'm trying my best to get my videos out every Monday and Thursday at 6:30. I may possibly have to change my times back to Tuesday and Friday, but just look on that community tab. Anytime that I change something up like that, it will be on that community tab. I hope you liked today's crafts. I think that they were very simple. I'm trying to make crafts that are easy for even a beginner so that they can join in and do this too. And also an advanced person would like to do. There's times when I like to do simple, easy crafts, and there's times when I like to do more complex. Well, this was one of those weeks when I just wanted to do something really easy and simple. And since I'm in the spring mood, I thought let's throw together some spring stuff and just have fun and have some good times together. But I love each and every one of y'all, and I will be seeing you soon. And I hope that y'all have a very blessed day and a blessed week. And I love you, and I'll see you soon. Here's Roxy after the bath. Ain't that right, baby? Her's got a bath today. Her's got a bath today. I love her, Mama. Let Mommy give you a kiss on the head. I love her Mama so much. She love her Mama so much. Quit licking my nose. I give you a kiss on the head. I don't want you licking budgers. Bitches. Look how cute it is. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yes. There that baby is. Her just go out of the bath. She just go out of the bath. Let's see what her looks like. Come here, girl. He won't be still.